Bridget Marie, I'm your beta, not your Luna. Oh. Okay. Blakely. Bridget, why you write Blakely like this? Girl, Blakely was getting on my nerves, honey. Blakely was getting on my nerves. Jake was amazing as a Luna prince or Luna king, right? I mean, excuse me, Alpha King. Lycan. He's a Lycan. And so in this particular book, there wasn't a lot of history going through about the Lycan, because some books you do like a brief historical thing within the conversation or something. I don't know when it comes to the Lycan versus the wolf. So Richard didn't do that. So the author didn't do that. The author just went down, got to the nitty gritty. Blakely, I don't even think that the king's name was Jake. Jake was the boyfriend. Blakely had a boyfriend named Jake. So her father was the alpha. And her mama died when she was young. So she barely remembered her. There's a lot going on in this book. Oh my gosh. I mean, a lot of it kind of got on my nerves, and then I'm gonna tell you what I think the message is in the daggone book, because come on. So the girl trained hard, obviously alpha, and so the father made her a beta, right? Instead of the best friend. I think the best friend probably would have been more so the beta, and toward the end of the book he really was the beta, but neither here nor there for now. So, but the boy, Jake, is somebody she had been growing up with for a long time, okay? I believe that is the beta son. So she had grew up with him, played with him. He said that you gonna be my girlfriend when it was little, and she said, and so they've been together forever, right? Now, she didn't go all the way, but it was a fool around, and that was pretty okay. But boy, oh boy. So I'm not really sure. So the way that the author wrote it was more so like the mate thing. It wasn't taught to her in a way where it was super important. Like, it was important, but I guess everybody gets taught this in school or with their parents, written on the pack or what have you. But yeah, she just wasn't like real particular. So it's hard to like, what I'm saying, because she wasn't really particular. She was just like, oh, I think that's what a mate's supposed to be, everything that Jake doing, right? But when it came time, for whatever treaty or agreement that was signed with the different Appalachian Pact. So I believe they were of the North or the South, and she needed to be joined to the North. They were of the South and they needed to be joined to the North or something like that. So, that was kind of murky with that one, the Appalachian Mountain. All right, then. Let me find out. Y'all got wolves in Yellowstone and they all werewolves. Anyway. But yeah. So they didn't tell. It's like her father set her up blindly for so much stuff. So on one hand, I could totally understand how Blakely would be like, yo, why she would be resistant. She like, yo, I don't like none of this. Like, what's good, yo? Like, why would you do this to me? Okay? And then, but her continuously trying to fight the mate bond and doing the most with Jake and all that just was crazy and unnecessary. Because at the end of the day, she was having, premonitions about her mate. And so when the mate showed up, come on, let's think about this, okay? So anyway, so she like, nah, I don't really like this or whatever. And so, the Lycan Alpha Stone, I believe, he came and he did not want no mate for whatever reason. He didn't want no mate. He didn't want no mate. So he thought until he got there and he smelled her while she was in the woods fooling around with the boy. And then he was like, wait a minute, maybe the mate is for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me rethink this mate thing, because this is feeling kind of like, you know? But then she kept going, I don't want no mate. So it just was putting him in such a crazy spot because, you know, he wanted to respect the whole mate bond thing. And he didn't know what to do. But he was going to go forward with that agreement. And he wasn't going to allow it not to happen because at the end of the day, baby, that was his mate for real. The agreement was for her to be with him. And that is why that was filled out that way. And as it turns out, toward the end, the mama is the one that created the agreement because she came from that pack and she was a witch. So it turns out Blakely had powers, but she didn't know she had powers, or the powers started to show up when the mate showed up. Because at first she, had a wolf and everything, but she wasn't doing nothing special. She was just doing ordinary, wolf things. But then the mate showed up and she started doing some more amazing strength, things. And then, magical things. It was like, wait a minute, girl, you look mighty, So that happened. She did have to go there almost by force. She was there, and then she just kept being resisted. She just kept being hurtful to the man. He was trying to do everything that he could. He understood her situation about not having her mother and all types of things of that nature. He even though he almost tried to kill the boy, he even tried to be understanding about that or whatever. Like, he just was like really trying to do the best, but on one hand he was doing the most too. Like, they were both kind of going back and forth, for no reason at all, on a lot of points, just argumentative for nothing. Both of them, they were young. Got to remember that a lot of these things, they're young. They finding their mate pretty young, you know what I mean? So these are kids still, so they're like so argumentative. They almost got, they got into a really bad accident off the mountain. They almost went, and it was like, this at the beginning, every time they about to, you know what I'm saying? Somebody always came, like, knock, 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 Alpha, knock, 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 yo, what up? Knock, 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 there's something going on. Knock, 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 come on, y'all. Something was always happening. So it was like, oh, you thinking like, they gonna get down with the kitty, right? So eventually they did get down with the kitty, and that was what's up. You know what I mean? Nothing too strong or memorable that to even think about. I'm, used to it. And then, but Blakely was just too much, to the point. She did a lot of, and also noticed that she did stuff that her father and them did to her. Whereas her father and them, to me, almost set her up for failure, right? Not telling her things that she was supposed to know, giving her what she was supposed to have at a certain age. So, it would have changed the story, I know, but still, she was doing the same thing. She interacted with somebody, seeing stuff out the corner of her eye, not really saying anything, you know what I mean? Which led to the point where, your enemy could get the one up on you. Let's go ahead. They fought the little deed. She, empowered within, was able to break through the dark witch's situation that, because they were siphoning her magic to make the enemy wolves stronger, rogue wolves stronger. And, she was able to get through that so that she could kill the cousin. Turned out to be her cousin. And, and end the war, you know what I mean? And, they wanted to keep everything a secret. And, it turns out the pack was just fine, just like she was told or whatever. It was a good. So it kind of cut out a little bit, but yeah, man, listen. So the takeaway that I got is the her people did not um they kind of set her up a little bit for failure because they didn't give her what she needed within the time. By the time she was 15, 16, she should have gotten that stuff from her father, and the enemies would not have had a one up. So let's make sure that we are not setting our children up for failure, and we're giving them and getting to them what it is that they need so that they can be properly prepared for what would potentially happen for the future. Okay, because anybody can try to get the one up over them. Another thing is, just be, resist the urge to hide things from those that you love, because you could be putting yourself and everybody into danger. Like, really make sure that if you see something, say something when it comes to your family and your friends. You see something, even if it sounds like it's crazy, you might think it's crazy, but I just saw something out the corner of my eye. Like, say something. You know what I mean? You with somebody, your mate, your wife, your husband, your whoever. Just make sure that you are specifically letting them know what's up and what's not. Like, seriously, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if they're possessive just a little bit. Just be like, yo, I was somewhere and this guy said, hey, or figure out how to mention it. Why? Because sometimes this could potentially be something, there could be an issue where you're in danger and you don't want it. So instead of, having a potential situation go wrong, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you got somebody, act like it. Act like you got somebody, and speak up whenever, you know what I'm saying? Because it just may be needed. You just never know when somebody might be scheming. And that's what happened with Blakely. She didn't speak up, and the Jason guy or whatever, which was another little cousin she didn't know of, they ended up getting a one up. They stole from them, and they got the one up on them. Go ahead and get this book off of We Here. It does cost a couple coins, but you know what I'm saying? If you could get through the irritation of her, you know what I'm saying, and understand why, you'll love it.